Golf Pick'em Expert Picks. Brought to you by FootJoy.
Welcome into another week of Golf Pick'em, the free-to-play game on the NBC Sports Predictor app. I'm Will Gray, joined by Nick Menta. Nick, we are going to go through 7 head-to-head matchups. We're going to pick a tournament winner, and potentially those playing at home could win some real cash prizes. So we're going to start with a couple of the big names in the field for this week at Bay Hill. Rory McIlroy and Adam Scott. Who gets your vote?
We're not going to overthink this.
Okay.
Rory McIlroy's 6 straight top 5s dating back to last season. He's got 5 of them this season. It took him a little while to get to Bay Hill, but in every start, he's finished tied for 6th or better in his last 3 starts, I should say. And he's a past champion 2 years ago. I like Adam Scott. I like Adam Scott, the actor, just as much. I'm taking the world number 1. Let's go with Rory.
6 years ago, Adam Scott had a 7-shot lead at this event through 36 holes. Did not win, ended up finishing 3rd behind Matt Every. Hasn't quite been the same since. I'm with you. Even though Adam Scott won a couple weeks ago at Riviera, I like Rory. I think he's going to be the guy to beat this week. Next up, we are going to look at a matchup between 2 guys, Nick, that went head-to-head a couple weeks ago in Mexico, Patrick Reed and Bryson DeChambeau. Reed got the edge in Mexico City. Who's going to get the edge this week in Orlando?
Kindred spirits, according to Bryson DeChambeau.
So they say.
Both players have shown recent form, as we mentioned. I'm going to go with Bryson for the following reason. I trust Bryson's ball striking on this golf course a little bit more than I trust Patrick Reed's scrambling. Not that one is necessarily better than the other every week, but on this golf course, I like Bryson. He's trending 5th and 2nd, and maybe it's a 1st this week.
Yeah, Bryson, runner-up a couple years ago at this event behind Rory McIlroy. And I agree with you. I think that, not that it was smoke and mirrors, but Patrick Reed was a wizard with the short game in Mexico City on a course where that really was rewarded. I don't know that he's going to get the same reward this week on Bay Hill, which tends to play for the ball strikers, as you mentioned. I like Bryson. I think he's trending in the right direction. He may have figured this whole thing out. He may have actually...
We're wrong. We're all wrong. It's not Bryson.
And it may, in fact, be Bryson who gets the vote from both of us this week.
Will, now a battle of past champions at this event. The 1997 winner, Phil Mickelson, versus the 2016 champion, Jason Day. Who do you like this week?
Yeah, it's been a while since Phil was in the winner's circle at Bay Hill. He's not exactly a regular at this event. I'm going to go with Jason Day. These are 2 guys, two great major champions who are both searching for form, and I trust Day a little bit more right now. We saw Phil come so close to win at Pebble Beach. He missed the cut the following week at Riviera. Really didn't seem to have much going on. I'm going to take my chances with Jason Day. I think he's got a better chance.
I'm inclined to agree with you, and this for me is a little bit more of an anti-Mickelson pick than it is necessarily a pro-Day pick.
Okay.
But you mentioned that he missed the cut after Pebble. He had missed 2 cuts before that. I just don't think this golf course suits him anymore. Day's shown a little bit better recent form. Always battling the balky back, but again, I like Day on this golf course a lot more at this stage than I do Phil.
Yeah. All right, Nick, this next matchup looks at 2 guys who were both on the U.S. President's Cup team a couple months ago, Xander Schauffele and Tony Finau. Who gets your vote?
2 guys who frequently contend, who rarely miss the cut, who are both in the top 10 on tour in strokes gained. This, of our 7 matchups this week, was the hardest for me. I'm going to give the edge to Schauffele, who's 2nd on tour in tee to green. At a golf course like Bay Hill, that's really going to help. It's the putter that usually holds him back. If he can catch a hot week, he can finally rip off that tour win that he's been hunting. That said, this was difficult for me. Maybe you have a little more expertise on this than I did.
Yeah, I think the one curveball with this matchup, I would have given Xander a bigger edge, except for the fact this is his first career appearance at Bay Hill. You feel like a lot of the guys, the stars that do show up at this event, have played here 3, 4, 5 times before. This is Xander's first trip, and this is a course that sometimes can take a little bit of learning, a little bit of adjusting to. Finau has played here before, hasn't had a spectacular record, but has made a few cuts. So I'm with you. I'm going to give Xander a slight edge, but this is one that really could go either way. Nick, our next matchup pits a pair of European Tour veterans against each other. We've got the defending champ, Francesco Molinari, against a guy who has played so well here but has not yet won, Henrik Stenson.
Been some really tough sledding for Frankie since the Masters last year. He doesn't have a top 10. He had missed 3 cuts in a row heading into Mexico. Can't miss the cut there, but he didn't play well. For me, this is easy. This is Stenson, who, while he hasn't won this event, has a fabulous record here, frequently contends. He's got 4 top 5 finishes. Henrik Stenson's biggest problem this week is going to be the traffic from Lake Nona to Bay Hill. Otherwise, I trust him this week. And this is a guy who has missed just one cut since last year's Players.
Yeah, Francesco Molinari, who has not been the same, as you said, since the Masters. Switched caddies to start the year. That hasn't really paid off. This course is one where you have to hit a lot of long and mid irons. No one better that I would trust more with a 4 or 5 iron in his hand than Henrik Stenson. I think he's the guy.
Will, our next matchup is a pair of two guys who both missed the cut last week at the Honda, and unfortunately have missed 2 of their last 3 cuts each in Rickie Fowler and Justin Rose. This was difficult for me, not for the same reason that Schauffele and Finau was difficult, but because neither of these guys have shown much recent form. I'm going to give the slightest of edges to Rickie Fowler, who at least followed up a first-round 76 with the 68 on Friday at the Honda. What did you think?
Yeah, nice to miss the cut by 1, at least building with a 68. But you're right, not a lot of momentum in this group. I'm going to go the other way. I actually think that Justin Rose could be the guy to take in this matchup, given his form at this event. We've talked before about how Henrik, Stenson, and some of the other Europeans have played really well here because it's a ball striker's course. Right. Justin Rose is a ball striker's ball striker, and he has finished 3rd or better 3 different times at Bay Hill. Although he has not won, I think that he could be due for at least another shot at contention. All right, Nick, our 7th and final matchup this week pits a pair of veterans against each other. Tommy Fleetwood, fresh off a close call at the Honda Classic. Marc Leishman, who won earlier this year at Torrey Pines. I'll go first. I'm going to give the edge to the Aussie. I think Marc Leishman is the guy this week. He has 4 straight top 25s at this event, including a win a couple years ago when he rallied on Sunday. I feel like this is just a course that brings out the best in him, accentuates the right parts of his game. He's got that win earlier this year at Torrey Pines. I think he's the guy.
I'm going to go the flip side. I'm going to say that Tommy Fleetwood is going to take that close call and just keep on rolling this week at Bay Hill. In 4 of his last 6 starts, he's finished 3rd or better. Okay, in every one of those 6 starts, he's been 20th or better. So I like him in this matchup. And if we're going to pick a winner for the week,
I need a winner.
I'm going to go with Tommy Fleetwood.
You're calling your shot. This is good.
He's coming right back from the Honda disappointment. I expect him to keep rolling, and I think that his Ryder Cup partner, Francesco Molinari, is going to be there to put the red cardigan on his friend Tommy Fleetwood on Sunday at Bay Hill.
We can put to rest the notion that Tommy doesn't win on the PGA Tour.
What do you got?
I'm going to go back to a guy I picked a couple weeks ago that is, I'm telling you, he's building. He's going to win soon. Hideki Matsuyama. 2 straight top 10s. He's played well at this course before, has never missed a cut at Bay Hill, had a top 10 a couple years ago, and he is quietly figuring it out. The game is coming back together after having a rough 12 or 18-month stretch. Hideki wins soon. I think it's going to be this week.
I look forward to being here next week when you again pick Hideki Matsuyama.
It'll be great. I don't know if he's playing. Well, he's playing. It's going to be the players. He'll be there. All right, so those are our picks. Remember, go on to the NBC Sports Predictor app. Make your free-to-play picks for the Golf Pick'em game for this week's Arnold Palmer Invitational. We do this every week. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.